Today, I freaked up by ruining my friend's new relationship. My good friend Amy is a widow. She's been trying to date again the last few years, but so far all the guys have been really toxic, including an alcoholic who would use her to pay his way and crashed her brand new car while she was at work. So when she started dating John, she told me she was on edge and afraid that he was going to be like the last couple of guys. I didn't realize my husband knew John. My husband works in an office that specializes in certain companies complying with the government regulations on that type of business. John works in IT and has a contract with my husband's office and is usually the one who comes to fix issues. Although there are a couple other IT guys, my husband has made small chat with John, but nothing past surface level. My husband and I went out on date night and saw Amy and John. She waved us over and John recognized my husband. It seemed like their relationship was going to be great, and we were looking to having another friend couple. Most of our friends are single. We went on a double date and it went well. They seemed to like each other and a lot. But Amy told me that he said he was divorced and that he said he wasn't ready to talk about it. She felt like this was the big red flag she was missing, the other shoe dropping. I told my husband and he said he didn't know any other details. A few days later, my husband calls me at work. He told me that John came in, they were chatting a bit, and he noticed John was wearing a wedding ring. I said I had to tell Amy, he agreed. She didn't take it well. She had been building up anxiety about his past and his inability to talk about it. So she assumed, we all did, he must be lying and not divorced but still married. She confronted him and really flipped out. She gave him a verbal lashing that she definitely regrets, especially because we were wrong. A couple years ago, John was married, but she didn't want children and she wanted to move far away. They decided that they weren't compatible even though they loved each other. They filed for divorce, and then a few days later, she was killed by a drunk driver. The divorce wasn't finalized, so John was responsible for the estate and funeral and organ donation. He did what she would have wanted and tried to grieve, but felt guilty because they were in the process of getting divorced, so he didn't consider himself a widower. Because she had blown up instead of asking him, he said he needed space and ended up blocking her. She felt justified because he wouldn't tell her, but wearing his ring meant he wasn't over it. But now she's upset and has been very awkward towards me and my husband. We feel guilty for meddling. I think your friend totally flipping out is the main problem, though she may feel mad about the intel you passed on. Sounds like your friend ruined it perfectly well for herself. You just gave her the info. 2 F-ups. F-up 1, John was absolutely not ready to date. F-up 2, friend freaking out rather than opening up a dialogue and asking him about the ring. So, where's your F-up? I don't see it. Just by getting involved, I guess. The relationship ended because Amy does not know how to communicate calmly. This should also teach the two of you not to assume things and pass on as fact. There's a saying that rings true, and that is assuming makes an ass out of you and me. That is why I try to get the context of the situation and get facts. Otherwise, crap like this happens. Today I fricked up by sending my wife to check if a Powerball ticket was a winner. So this happened a few days ago. I have a long-standing habit of buying a lottery ticket for the Powerball or Megaball, etc. whenever it gets over 300 million. It's overall a very small amount per year, and it's just a small investment in fun times from my point of view. Recently, the prize was slowly creeping up due to no winners multiple weeks in a row. The prize gets rolled over if there is no winner. It was over $1 billion last week, and I bought a ticket like usual, but I got too busy to take it in to check the numbers. Here's where I screwed up. I decided to give the ticket to my wife to check. Now, she's a sweet lady who has never gambled anything, so she was not familiar with the process. I sent her to a local supermarket with a machine, explained how to scan the card, and sent her on her merry way. A little while later, I get a strange text, basically saying, "You better be sitting down." And then a text saying something to the effect of, "I'm never coming back to this store again." Later, I got the full story. She scanned the ticket correctly, and the machine announced that she was a winner. A full screen graphic in giant words, the works. She freaked out at the prospect of becoming billionaires. She does not know how much is shaved off for taxes, but that's a different story. Attracting attention in the store. After hyperventilating for a minute or two, she saw that the machine started to proceed to a checkout counter. She walks over and found out that she won $2. She was not aware that if you get one number or sum in the right place, you can win your money back. Anyways, after landing back on Earth abruptly, she left the store mortified at her reaction to winning $2, and now we need to find somewhere else to shop. TLDR, wife did not know that you can win tiny amounts of money for getting one number correct in the lotto, mistakenly thought we became billionaires based on her reaction in the store. She now needs to find a new store to shop at. Most people will never know what it feels like to be a billionaire, but she did. At least she contacted you. Some wouldn't. True love. This is adorable. Sorry she had her dreams publicly smashed like that, though. P.S. Download the app on your phone and save yourselves unnecessary trips to the lotto machine. I bought a ticket randomly one day, handed it to the cashier the next day, and she said, "Holy moly." My heart dropped. It was $350. I thought I was a millionaire for a minute. Hey, $350 is groceries free for a week. Today, I fricked up by taking my mom to see Barbie. My mom's in her 70s, and understandably, she has been through a lot of crap in her lifetime. She's been the first female ex in her workplace several times and has admitted her obsession with my appearance is because she's experienced a lot of comments regarding her looks and what was appropriate for a woman throughout her life. We both wanted to see the movie and both had an idea about the subject matter, but she wouldn't have gone if I hadn't suggested it. We saw it this morning, and let me tell you, I was not expecting to cry that much. Also, shout out to the guy sitting next to me who was crying into his girlfriend's shoulder. Ever since we got out, my mom has not stopped crying. She's also admitted a few things that she's never told me before. Apparently, there have been 2 occasions where she was forced to leave her job because her husband started working there. I didn't know that was a thing. What the heck? And this was in the 80s. She was sexually assaulted by a thankfully now retired politician she worked with and couldn't say anything. She was forced out of a job because her boss's wife was jealous of her. She literally calls this guy her second father, but somehow she was a threat. And my father apparently repeatedly telling her that she should be grateful for the things he's done for her, like buying a family house, when he forced us to move to the other side of the world without consulting her, a house which was sold for less than market value in the divorce, and supporting her when she didn't have a job as a result of said move to the other side of the world, where she didn't have permission to work. She's already been a bit, shall we say, somber recently due to her fear of aging, but she seems to have spent the last few hours doing nothing but going over her mistakes and regrets, and I don't know how to help her. Just listen. You did not mess up. This is something that's probably been bottled up inside of her for decades. Letting it out and being able to say it out loud to you is probably very therapeutic for her. Listen to her and make a plan together to go get manis or petties or a spa day. You should distract her by taking her to a more lighthearted movie. Try seeing Oppenheimer. Talk about her successes. You, for example. Even with all the challenges she faced, she created the environment that allowed you to become who you are. Who would you be if she meekly accepted a woman's position in life? You didn't mess up, mate. What happened to your mom was neither of y'all's faults. It just so happened that the movie became a gateway to start processing the crap that she went through. She must be one hell of a badass woman to have managed to push through, despite everything. I wish you the best. I think this is actually a good thing. She was so used to thinking that that was the way it's supposed to be. Barbie made her feel seen and able to share her experiences with you. It is special that she felt close enough for you to share. Be there for her. In a few days, maybe thank her for sharing all of those things with you and ask if there's anything that she would like to talk about, and if she ever needs to share more, you will always be a place she can turn to without judgment. Today, I fricked up by losing $146,000 in poker. Mandatory not today. I've been living alone in a new city for a little more than a year. I literally don't know anyone here except for work folks who I don't interact with except for work. With not much to do during my downtime, I got into online poker. I have a decent job where I make around $100K a year, and where I stay, this puts me in the top 10% of earners. But over the last 7 months, I've managed to lose $146,000 playing poker. I primarily played PLO6. I started with buy-ins of 100, but soon moved up to 500 and then 5,000. I was losing often, but only after I would run up insane scores. Similar every other day, I would load up for 5K, run it back to 30K, proceed to lose it all, and then buy back 6 more times. I kept it mostly in balance with a couple of big cash outs, getting up from the table with, say, 70K profit, only because everyone else left. But I was a consistent loser, losing on an average of 20 to 30K per month. My entire salary would go into this other than rent and food. The last week or so of every month, I would be counting my dollars to make sure I had enough to make it through, and then it happened. I lost balance completely. I had a month where I lost 50K plus, blew through my savings, took an advance from work, and blew through that too. As of today, I'm down 146K with 12K in debt and about $200 to my name to last out the month. I don't have enough for rent this month and don't really know how I'm gonna figure it out. I'm respected at work and seen as someone who is highly logical, analytical, practical, and intelligent. What they don't know is that I'm also a degenerate gambler. I'm sure I'll get through this. I have to. I also have to rebuild, but I just needed to put this down and share it with someone, even if it's just words and an empty sub. Take care, guys. Loneliness is a hell of a thing. TLDR, lonely, well-to-do guy spends everything on poker, ends up being lonely and in debt. Being broke is the best possible thing for you right now. You got out with only 12K in debt. Ban yourself officially from all the card rooms and beware of any windfall of cash. Find a 12-step meeting, get a sponsor, and work the steps. Stop and reframe. You aren't getting the 146K back, so stop thinking about that number at all. Erase it from your mind. You are 12K in the hole. That's the debt you owe. Start paying it off as much as you can. Focus on that number, not the 146K. Don't gamble again. If this isn't the wake-up call to seek out professional help, I don't know what else to say, but expect your life to turn to ruins if you don't get help immediately. For food, you can use food banks so you don't starve. For rent, you might just have to be late and catch up next month. You may lose your job and home as a result of this. Get off Reddit and make some calls to support hotlines and therapists. Today I fricked up by giving my girlfriend pepper spray that I no longer needed. The actual gift giving happened about a month ago. I used to work for Uber part-time and would carry pepper spray on me to deal with the crazies when/if a time would ever arise that I needed to. After I quit, I felt I no longer needed it and gifted it to my girlfriend. She got extremely excited by this gift. I'm not sure why she was so ecstatic, but she felt this extreme empowerment by having it, like she was invincible or something. As soon as she got it, she was outside testing it by spraying it on the ground, which I told her to test it to make sure if it works. It says so directly on it. I had never done so myself. She used it twice and danced with glee, then went back inside, and that was that. Over the course of the next month, She kept that thing on her like it was her only lifeline in the world. I was honestly kind of flattered that she loved my little $20 gift so much. It comes with a breakaway attachment to a keychain that she had fixed to her keys. When we went out downtown, some guy approached her when I was in the bathroom, and when I come out, she's pointing it in his face like she's ready to end his retina's existence. It was extremely comical until it wasn't. Alright, so last weekend we were in the car and some of my friends with us. My girlfriend in the passenger seat, my friend directly behind her, his girlfriend next to him in the center, and some guy that was introduced to us by my friend, let us call him Steve, directly behind me. We were on our way to an event downtown, and dude, Steve has a pretty big personality. You know, the type of guy that likes to put other people down to make himself feel better or laugh at other people's expenses, whatever, I know the type. Well, my girlfriend has a bit of an explosive personality, and while she wasn't the target of his banter, she sure as shoot wouldn't put up with it. I was the target. And while I won't go into too much detail on what was said, it was enough to set her off and pull out the handy dandy pepper spray I gifted her and set that stuff right off in his face. Well, frick. We are in a car on the freeway, windows rolled up, and pepper spray going off adjacently behind me. I appreciate her attempt to white knight for me, but when I tell you everyone in the car was a victim, including herself, to the sheer magnitude of singing pain into my eyes, they immediately closed, and I swerved off the side into a divider. Luckily, I only grazed the divider wall, but we were all immediately out of the car, screaming, gasping, wiping our eyes. When I finally looked over at Steve, he was vomiting, beet red, and it literally looked like she dumped the can on his face. She's never getting a weapon again. That's really messed up. I don't think being excited about having pepper spray is all that weird, honestly, but responding to words with pepper spray is a huge escalation. IMO, either she has serious anger issues or she was looking for any excuse to use it. I'm fairly certain that is a Darwin Award runner-up candidate. So close, maybe next time, eh? Explosive personality is an eloquent way of saying they are violent and have a hair trigger. If this is true, then your girlfriend is extremely negligent and dangerous. A weapon must be respected and only used as a last resort. Her use at the bathroom raised my eyebrow, but benefit of the doubt to her there, since it could have been a dangerous situation. In the car over a guy trash talking? Nah, that's beyond any thinkable line. She's dangerous and should not be allowed to be near a butter knife with that attitude. There is nothing cute here, nothing endearing, nothing in any positive way. This is disgusting and worrisome. That was assault. Like, it's not a goof or a whoops kind of moment. Your girlfriend assaulted someone for no real reason. Edit, your girlfriend sounds like a complete nutcase. Is this the same girlfriend who has a 12-year-old kid who says neo-Nazi shit, or have you moved up? Today I fricked up by dating a psychopath. Today I fricked up by passing gas outside my husband's office. Both my husband and I work from home. I had just finished a marathon session of meetings and went to get a glass of water. While walking down the hallway, I let a big fart I had been holding for hours, one of those loud, this sounds like a movie sound effect poots. When I walked past my husband's door, he shot me daggers. He came downstairs later, genuinely upset. I was in a meeting when you farted. I said, oh, okay, I didn't mean to distract you. He replied, no, you don't get it. I wasn't muted. Your fart was so loud my avatar glowed because my mic picked it up. Everyone in the meeting went silent, thinking I had just let a giant fart on camera. So yeah, I feel really bad, not only because I accidentally framed my husband with a fart, but also because I could not stop laughing long enough to apologize. I eventually did when I could catch my breath. TLDR, I farted so loudly my husband's mic picked it up during a client meeting. I'd have absolutely typed, sorry, that was my wife, into the chat. Life pro tip. Some conference software, thinking of Google Meet here, has a noise reduction feature that very reliably catches things that are not voices. I happen to know that it catches farts because, people told me so. It's really good. So good, you have to turn it off if you want to show your colleagues how you play that new guitar. It also eliminates the usual notification sounds from your phone. It does not silence your 3-year-old running and screaming, Daddy, I gotta make a big poo-poo, but luckily for me, the time when that happened and the time when it was embarrassing are both in the past. 1985. Whoever smelt it, dealt it. 2023. Whoever zoomed it, kaboomed it. Edit. Thanks, not my first joke to win gold. Yeah. One day, I was on our front porch, hosing it down and watering plants. My husband opened the door and just ripped the hugest, loudest fart. I looked towards the neighbor's house and saw the mom on their porch looking at me. Turns out he was standing back enough from the door that she just couldn't see him, just me. I was already laughing, as was he, and I shoved him into the house so I could go in too. He asked me what's wrong, and I said, Mrs. Neighbor heard that and thought it was me. We could not stop laughing. Today I fricked up by assuming a patient had come in to get her nose fixed. I work in plastic surgery department and had seen a 17-year-old girl with her mother. The girl very obviously had a deviated septum, and before I confirmed the cause of the visit, I extremely carelessly blurted out, nose? She was visibly embarrassed and held up her heavily bandaged finger. I couldn't have been more wrong. The girl had 3rd-degree friction burns on her finger and had been referred to the plastic surgery department due to an ER visit. She had a pyogenic granuloma formed during the burning healing process, and when it bled, it had initially been mistaken for arterial bleeding. During the process of cleaning the wounds and properly dressing them, I noticed her looking closely in the mirror behind her a lot. So much that I think I may have actually caused self-confident issues in someone already vulnerable to them. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, and I feel like a major asshole. You should have explained about the deviated septum. Damn, dude. That's really unfortunate. Poor girl. Ha, I went to chemo and got asked if I was there for plastic surgery. I responded, I wish. And you didn't even explain it was because of her deviated septum? You could have told her it was a medical issue you noticed, not you just pooping on her appearance. Yeah, that would have explained everything. Did OP also think she needed a nose job then? Lol. Today I fricked up by helping my dad set up his Tinder profile. My parents divorced at the beginning of the year. I, 28M, have been as supportive as possible to both my parents since the divorce, but lately I've come to regret not being less involved because I was not fully prepared for the fallout of suddenly having crazy single parents. Exhibit A, my dad. He recently asked me to help him set up an account on Tinder because one of his coworkers suggested online dating. My dad had no idea how Tinder worked, so it became my responsibility to tell the internet that he's available. I love my dad, but he's the most boring person on the planet. His Tinder bio was mundane as fork. Most of the photos he had included my mom, aka the ex-wife, which was obviously not usable. The few solo photos he had made him look like the hillbilly gas station owner who worked in the middle of nowhere and encouraged lost teenagers to follow the route that is not on the map so they can get violently killed by cannibals. My dad decided not to use the hillbilly photos, so he made me drive him to random locations where he posed for photos that clearly look staged. Dad at the beach, dad at the gym, dad at the park. You get the picture. I don't know how, but my dad managed to get more matches in a few weeks than I got since I joined Tinder 2 years ago. My mom somehow found out about my dad's Tinder profile and asked me to do the same for her. I didn't want to, but I had to, otherwise my mom might feel discriminated. My love life is practically non-existent, yet here I am helping my parents sleep with random people. Sigh. Hillbilly gas station owner, luring teenagers to cannibal death. Incredible. Really vivid imagery, and I love it. In higher age groups, just having your life together becomes more of an asset, it seems. Also, different apps work very differently for me. Bumble was fine, having an interesting occupation and some interest though. OkCupid didn't work at all for me, just tried it for a few days, except for random dubious matches from women who are literally on a different continent. Take photos of your mom doing the same poses in the same locations. Reasons why dad is getting more matches. The older crowd aren't as fickle as the younger ones. The don't screen out all men under 180 centimeters, 100k salary, and other than athletic build. Most recently divorced men use the photos they have. Heck, I used an ID photo at first. Even the stage stuff shows that he does more than work, eat, and sleep. Most women want a man their age or older, so they often leave the top end of the range more open. Most men leave the bottom end more open. This works out well for older men. LOL. Made him look like the hillbilly gas station owner who worked in the middle of nowhere and encouraged lost teenagers to follow the route that is not on the map so they can get violently killed by cannibals. Now you need to describe how he looks in the new pics you took. Link to mom's profile? I want the dad's profile. I want both. Today, I fricked up by being too fat to date. This might sound like a rant, but I promise I'm not bitter. Just disheartened. I've been talking to a lovely lady on a dating app and things were going incredibly well. We've talked on the phone for hours and just really vibed. She told me multiple times I was incredibly sweet and funny and that she was looking forward to going out with me IRL. She's pregnant and had a craving for food and possibly more, so I grabbed dinner and took an Uber to go see her. Thought it would be a cute first date. When I got there, she took the food, thanked me, and said I look 10 years older than my profile pic and 50 pounds heavier, then asked if I can leave. Now, the picture is about a year old, and I'm 15 pounds heavier than in the pic, currently weighing in at 235, 6 foot 1 inch, but I literally told her my weight and warned her of my dad bod on the phone, and she just laughed and talked about her mom bod. She also said I look completely different in person, and no one else has ever said that before. I didn't really know what to say, so I apologized and left. I deleted my account on the dating app, but not before I noticed she blocked me. I'm sitting in the car, driving home, and I'm compelled to give some advice. I would have taken the food back. This has nothing to do with you, it's just a scam. You could look like a Hemsworth brother and it wouldn't matter, she was just using you for free food. I'm gonna jump in here and confirm, you got scammed for free food. Had nothing to do with you or your looks, and everything to do with you seemed nice enough to fall for it. Sorry you got taken advantage of, hope you have better luck in the future. She's just using Tinder because it's cheaper than DoorDash. Don't take it personally, this is on her. Today I fricked up by talking in my sleep to my wife. I have been away for a few weeks in Seoul, in South Korea, and I'm also a known sleep talker. Since my returning, my sleep cycle has been completely messed up. In my sleep, I said to my wife, let's have a proper kiss while we are in Seoul, which resulted in my wife waking me up and questioning me. She asked who I thought I was talking to and who did I kiss in Seoul. She didn't sleep the rest of the night, nor would she listen to any reason, and I actually feel the more I protested, the more convinced she is that I actually cheated on her with someone in Seoul. I didn't kiss anyone in Seoul, nor have I ever been in any way unfaithful, but I feel that my wife is now convinced that I have cheated on her while I was away and won't hear any more of my protestations, and I don't know how to defend myself over something I said in my sleep. What is with people thinking sleep talk is based on reality? One time my brother said, not those beans, prepare for liftoff in his sleep. Does this mean he's a space bean farmer on the side? Has he been hiding it all along? My fiance talks in his sleep and it's so funny. One night he practically shouted, horny, horny, horny. I nearly choked laughing at him. Of course he didn't remember it when he woke up. I hope OP's wife chills out. Tell your wife she's the only one. Your soulmate. Thanks for thinking it was funny. Appreciate the awards, homies. I feel that my widow is now convinced. Are you a ghost? Sleep talk is ridiculous. One time my wife actually stood up in bed and was reaching up and touching the walls. I asked what she was doing and she said, I'm trying to break the blocks. My wife was playing Mario in her sleep. Mario? That was very clearly Minecraft. Man, this is tough. My fiance talks in his sleep a lot. He also hears and replies to me and doesn't remember anything when he wakes up. I have insomnia, so it's a fun way to spend long nightly hours. I just have conversations with him about random things. They don't always make sense. Sometimes it's about absolutely weird things, but I just roll with it. Sleep talking isn't always based on real situations and experiences. You were probably dreaming of wanting her in soul and kissing her there. Maybe explain this to her? Other than that, I don't think there's anything that could convince her otherwise. Just continue saying random sus crap as you drift off to sleep. Stop it, Jimmy. I'm ticklish there. Zzz. Eventually, she'll realize they're meaningless words or she'll leave you. LOL. I'm sorry, man. My ex-girlfriend was a huge sleep talker. One time she said, give me your hand. No, not that one, the big one. And the second time it was, of course, there's always my way. We had just gone to Disneyland that day and tell him and the horse to stop and get in the car. Sleep talking doesn't make any sense. She's just reaching. Today I fricked up by telling my boyfriend another man is hot. So I'm F19 on the phone with my BF M19 while waiting for a friend, and he asked me what celebrity I think he looks like. After a good moment thinking about it, I tell him that he kind of looks like Hayden Christensen. I'm a big Star Wars fan and he hasn't watched any of the movies. I explained that he played Anakin and I had to explain that Anakin is Darth Vader before he was Darth Vader, and my BF is like, oh no, come on. You think I look like the guy who played the worst villain? And my first reaction is, yeah, he's hot. After that, my BF told me he didn't really appreciate me calling another man hot. I explained to him that it's as far as it'll go, and if he told me an actress is hot, and I agree, I would agree. I don't think he's too upset about it, but I'm pretty sure he didn't like that. I know it's not that deep, but I still wanted to share in case anyone has advice on how I can smoothly come back from that one. TLDR, I told my boyfriend he looks like Hayden Christensen, and he was sad because it's Darth Vader, and it doesn't matter because he's hot. Looks like you have the high ground. To be 19 again, lol. I'm sorry, I meant you look like Hayden Christensen, who is not hot. Like, at all. You look like him. He's hot. BF needs to learn how to take a W. He has the Anakin self-important angst down to a T. Young people problems. You didn't, TIFU. He's just not confident. He sounds very insecure if he can't even take you complimenting a celebrity. My wife and I were in a restaurant once and our waiter was hands down the most attractive man I've ever seen. We both looked, we both said so, and we both had a good running inside joke about it for years afterwards. There's nothing wrong with, I know this is my first time saying anything in the video. Jesus. There's nothing wrong with complimenting a person on their beauty. If you and your person can't, work with that, I don't know. I, of course, am very single, but me, a straight man, and my one of my associates, one of my fellow coworkers at my day job, who is a lesbian. This one dude walked in a couple weeks ago, and we both looked at him, and then we looked at each other, and we were like, holy shit, that dude is stunning. There's nothing wrong with complimenting a man on his beauty. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and also turn on post notifications so you get notified every time this channel uploads. Thank you all again for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out.